guys, so welcome to the Actor's Notebook. Today we're going to talk about getting an agent um, and being signed like right away. Say you leave school, you get your bachelor's in fine arts or bachelor's of arts, and you want to get, or maybe you don't, maybe you don't go to school, you just want to see if you can move to New York, get an agent, and get work that way. Um, Either way, I feel the same about it. It's up to you completely whether you want to get an agent. I can tell you information of how to get an agent. I've told you information of how to get auditions if you don't have an agent. How to get auditions for yourself. If you're interested in that, go to my channel and look up that video. But this is specifically if you just want to find kind of like an agent. Here is my tips. So if you're going to find an agent right away and you don't really have a lot of shows on your resume, it can be difficult. So you'll want to go first look up agents, look up agencies. Send your headshot and resumes to all of them. See which ones are interested. Email them, very professional. Do not keep emailing them. That can ruin your relationship with that agency. If they're busy and they can't contact you, don't keep contacting them. It doesn't look good for you to keep doing that. Just like you shouldn't do that if you're trying to get signed to a theater company, you shouldn't keep emailing them. Email them once, maybe twice, make sure they got your information. If you don't get like a receipt email telling them, saying that, you know, it's been received and it's been like forever, okay. But okay, they hate that. Do not do that. Do not keep going back to them. Do not keep calling them. They have your headshot or resume. That's one step. That's great. If they need someone and they don't have anyone on their roster who is a black female, 5'3", brown hair, brown eyes, and they have like all these auditions for someone who looks like that and they don't have anyone, they can look through their headshots and see which ones they would like to meet with, and maybe that'll be me. But don't keep nagging them, because then they're not gonna like it. It's not gonna look professional. So don't do that. But a good way is to find a bunch of agencies and then send your headshots out, and see if any of them contact you. Another good thing is you'll often find that they'll have companies will have showcases, and in those showcases they'll have agents or casting directors for whatever season, and so you can audition for one of those showcases and perform and see if anyone wants you. It does cost money a lot of times to do a showcase. So if you have the money and maybe you've been trying on your own for a while and you're just like, man, I want an agent, it's just gonna be so much easier because I'm doing all this work to find these auditions, and really like I just need to focus on my day job and my acting. And that's completely normal. If you have that, if you need an agent, if you feel like you need an agent to help you with the load, fine. You can do one of those showcases. They'll have them in New York. You can even find them on Backstage, which I mentioned earlier is a good way to find auditions. You can find them on Backstage. Or you can find workshops on Backstage also, where you can work with some directors, and that's a good way to kind of get your name out there. It's not a networking tool per se, but you can use anything as a network as something for networking. Make sure that you are networking, regardless if you have an agent or not. So you can do that. You can do one of those showcases. Sometimes people get signed, and that's great. Some other kind of showcases where maybe you won't get signed to an agent, but you can get possible auditions for specific shows. I believe there's one in Oregon happening now, where they'll have showcases where you do your monologues for like a table full of directors and a table full of like artistic directors for theater companies, and you'll just audition for them. You can do that. You can find that through Backstage. You can find that through Playbill. I found one through Playbill. I found a few through Playbill. So you can do that. If you're trying to find an agent, so I highly recommend the showcases. I highly recommend sending your headshot and resumes out there. Get them out there. But I will say, it can be difficult if you don't have much on your resume and you're trying to get an agent, because they want to make sure that you're sellable. People will want to hire you. And if you have, it's just the same as like when you get a job. If you have a good resume where you're showing that you have all these, you have all of these skills in your repertoire because you've worked here, you worked there, you know how the industry works, you're not going to make them look a fool and get yourself blackballed. You know, you understand all these things. Then they'll most likely want to sign you. Or sometimes you'll sign new talent all the time. They do that. If you are the right look and they don't have someone who looks like you, and they need someone like that to go out there and get these jobs, great. A lot of times when you get signed, if you don't book a job, like in the first 3 months, they might just let you go. Some agencies are like that. They need people now. They need people who are going to work. So be prepared for that if you want an agent. Also, here's the thing. Here's why I suggest trying it on your own for at least maybe a year. Is because, one, to show that you're hireable. Two, if you don't have money, and they take out that 10, 15, 20%, and I get the same job as you from Backstage or from Playbill, and I get to keep all of my money, it's kind of better, you know? We get in the same auditions, we're putting in the same work, we both earned it, but you're getting that 10, 15% out of, like, away from you. Sometimes it just doesn't work for some people. Sometimes they just don't have the money, one, to put in for a showcase, or to have their agent take that percentage, which they rightfully deserve. They deserve that percentage. They do a lot of work. I know because I don't have an agent, and I find all of my jobs myself through Backstage, through Playbill, through Broadway World. People can use Actors Access, whatever you choose. But it's a lot of work looking through that, making sure, and then getting all those emails and making sure that you have everything in on time, and make sure that you make up your audition, you know, and then also like negotiating pay if you have to. Can be difficult, but it is a skill that I think is good for an actor to know. It's good to experience, but again, agents do make it easier. So if you want to find an agent, those are the things that I highly recommend you do. I don't have anything against agents. I have a lot of friends who are casting agents. They don't. Yeah, like I have a lot of people who work at casting internships are great as well. It's a great skill to know kind of what the other side thinks when they're in there and you're trying to be hired by them. So agents are great. They're great ways to communicate, and oftentimes they have the connections that maybe you need and don't have. So if you want that, I highly recommend sending your headshots and resumes in. And then also, like, if you can, send it to agents who you feel like will understand you, and will understand exactly what kind of work you need to go your way. Now, sometimes they'll still send you out for auditions where you have to be a 70-year-old woman, which of course you're not going to get. But if you have someone that kind of understands you and understands your skill, which is why, you know, the showcases are great, because they get to understand your talent, what you're good at, and put you out for those roles, that's great. So I highly recommend sending it out there, getting your face out there with any agencies that you're thinking about, networking that way. And if you choose to try and join an agency, best of luck to all of you. Let me know, like, if you find anything, and I'll be happy to celebrate through the phone. So bye guys, have a great day.